Welcome to ConnectIT, the company that simplifies your workflow. Our modern software is made in a historic castle with origins dating back to 1331. With our app, you can simplify your interfaces in Business Central and connect with any other system by standard methods, like REST, SOAP, FTP, and Azure services. ConnectIT is used for a large variety of interfaces, from data migration to import sales orders, and from maintaining master data with intercompany to connecting with webshop APIs. This app is flexible to use. Large and small companies in various industries are using our app. First, we select the ConnectIT 365 Manager role, where the ConnectIT dashboard is installed, and ConnectIT 365 menu items are available. There are example interfaces available that can be installed. In the dashboard, you will have an overview of running interfaces and detailed logging of imported and exported records. In the dashboard, you also have access to the menu items to set up and maintain an interface. For importing and exporting data, ConnectIT 365 has a lot of general settings that you can use for both sides. In the next slides, we will explain more about the options in an export, but are also available in an import. First, we are going to look at the export side into the interface settings, the interface which we call a definition in ConnectIT 365. In the definition, you can select a method like REST, SOAP, FTP, and an output format like JSON, XML, CSV, and Excel. Per method, there will be different tabs with settings available, for example, for REST to add credential settings. You can add the mapping from tables and fields in BC to fields that need to be exported, or vice versa, set the fields that are imported and map them to fields in BC. With the table monitor, you can add the triggers on the table from BC when data needs to be exported, for example, if there is a modify or delete action in the table. It is also possible to use advanced functions to transform data into the right output. To create a new interface, there is a wizard available. With our wizard, you can create very easy a new definition. First, you need to select what data format will be used. In the menu, you can click on the Create button. The wizard will be opened. To define the mapping by an example file, we will import a JSON file. As you can see here in our JSON file, there are different layers. The file will be added by dragging and drop the file into the wizard. You can define the right tables to use in the wizard. In this case, we select the item table. It is possible to add multiple tables. It is possible to use custom tables or from other apps. And after finishing the wizard, the mapping is automatically created in the Definition tab. The wizard will set automatically the layers like the attributes are layered in the file. As you can see here, the names of the attributes are the same as in the definition. The wizard will also suggest Business Central fields that match with the fields from the example JSON file if they have similar names. Now the wizard is ready, you can change and add fields from BC and add all other settings to create your interface. If you are ready with the mapping, other settings can be done. In the tab recurrence, there is an option to set the frequency for exporting data. It is possible to set a real-time connection, recurring job, or an advanced job with an advanced data formula. It is using the standard BC job queue entries and based on the table monitors. The files will be exported based on an action in the table in BC. In the tab table monitors, it is possible to monitor BC tables and use certain fields as a trigger to send the export. For example, if the item description field has a modify or delete, the export will be triggered. This is only available for export definitions. There is an alert tab to create alert messages if the export fails or succeeds. The message can be sent per email, SMS, or WhatsApp and can be sent to multiple users. In the Logging tab, you can define on what logging level you want to follow the export. With the debug logging, it is possible to follow every step in the process if the export fails. By using projects, you can batch maintain, backup, and archive multiple interfaces in one place. Now we are going to have a look at the import side and process an import manually. The import side has almost the same functionalities as the export side has. Processing an import definition automatically or manually is very easy. You can test the import definition with the process function. Manual, it will require a file from your desktop which can be imported. If you use other methods, you can also process manually. This will connect with the location and add the data into the entries. If you process the created entries, it will be processed into the selected table in BC. After processing, you see at the right side in the fact boxes some detailed information about the imports that have been created. In menu, under the related item, you can check what kind of data is imported. On the tab flow, it is possible to trigger a custom or standard BC code unit before or after the import and export to further automate the interface. For example, to release or post a sales order. To use the Business Central logic, you can also select some other options, for example, to use the validate function in the definition lines. If this is selected, the validation rules of BC will be triggered and data is automatically filled. For example, the description and price of an item on a sales line is added. To insert data in a table in BC, the key fields need to be set. If these fields are not available in the import file, you can use constant values. For example, to set the sales order number. By adding functions to a field, you can also look up data in BC or change data before importing in BC. There are a large amount of standard functions available, and there is also an option to test the functions before adding to the definition with the function tester. In the function tester, you can add input manually to see how the functions are responding. In this demo, we have shown how to use the definition wizard to set up an export definition and how to process an import definition. As you can see, the app is using Business Central logic and can also be used in combination with other apps and customizations. In this demo, we have seen that ConnectIT 365 is one app for all your integrations needs. For importing or exporting all kinds of files like Excel, CSV, JSON, and XML, and that can connect with FTP, REST, SOAP, Azure Service Bus, Azure Event Grid, REST Endpoint, Dropbox, email, intercompany, mixed. The power of ConnectIT 365. 1. Define an interface with a wizard. 2. No middleware needed. 3. Flexible integration options. 4. Inbuilt functions to extract or format information. 5. Use standard Business Central logic in interfaces. 6. Real-time or advanced job scheduler. 7. Detailed logging and notifications.
IDIN. Simplify your workflow. Explore the perfect fit for your industry at idin.nl.